All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're talking about something pretty much all of us experience, but let's be honest, almost nobody feels completely ready for. Think about it, the sweaty palms, the racing heart, the absolute vulnerability of asking someone out. We're going to decode the graceful art of starting a courtship. We'll be using clear, scriptural advice from our source material to really figure out how to navigate these uncharted waters. So whether you're gearing up to make the first move or you suddenly find yourself on the receiving end of a proposal, this explainer is going to give you a highly respectful, structured roadmap. Let's get to it.
So, the big question, how do you actually start a courtship gracefully? It's a fantastic question, right? Because we all know that putting yourself out there is just incredibly intimidating. Honestly, it can feel a bit like walking a tightrope without a net. You're risking rejection, and the other person, well, they're put right on the spot. But here's the good news. What we're going to see today is that it absolutely doesn't have to be a messy, ambiguous, or hurtful process. By really zeroing in on clear communication and deep respect, we can literally transform this anxiety-inducing moment into an interaction defined by mutual dignity.
Section 1. The Foundation of Gracious Words.
Think of this as the overarching theme for our entire explainer today. Every single action, every response, the whole shebang that we talk about moving forward is rooted right here. Colossians 4:6 simply states, "Let your words always be gracious." Now, what's really fascinating here is that it sets an absolute baseline for human interaction. Notice that crucial word, always. Graciousness isn't something you can just flip on and off like a light switch depending on how well the conversation is going. No, whether you're initiating the chat or you're reacting to it in total surprise, graciousness just isn't optional. It's the essential ingredient. It sets a tone of kindness that fiercely protects the feelings and the self-worth of both of you.
Let's move to Section 2. Perspective 1. The Initiator.
All right, with that bedrock of graciousness in place, let's look at things from the initiator's side. Say you've made the carefully considered decision to make the first move. How do you do it? Well, let's break down the actionable steps straight from the source. Step 1. Arrange a conversation. Imagine the absolute panic of feeling trapped in a corner when someone confesses their feelings. Yeah, not fun. That's exactly why the guidance here is to do this either in a public setting or maybe over the phone. It creates a safe, comfortable environment where nobody feels cornered. Step 2. Clearly express your intentions. This honors the principle in 1 Corinthians 14:9. Basically, ditch the ambiguity. Don't be vague or leave them guessing why you suddenly invited them for coffee. Just say what you mean. And step 3, give them time to think. Proverbs 15:28 reminds us of the profound value of pausing to ponder an answer. Think about it for a second. You've probably had weeks, maybe even months, to process your feelings, right? So you've got to offer them the patience to process theirs without demanding an answer right then and there. Now here's an absolutely crucial point for the initiator. Respect their feelings if they say no. Remember how we just talked about letting your words always be gracious? Well, true graciousness means accepting rejection with total dignity. If the person is simply not interested in pursuing a relationship, you've got to completely respect that. No pressure, no guilt trips, no asking "but why" over and over again. Just a graceful, respectful acceptance of where they're at. Ultimately, it's about preserving their peace and your integrity.
Section 3. Perspective 2. The Receiver.
Let's flip the script for a minute. What's it actually like for the person on the receiving end? How should you act when someone suddenly steps up and says they're interested in you? Well, it has to start with empathy first. Acknowledge their courage. If someone approaches you to express romantic interest, try to realize the immense emotional weight of that moment. Honestly, it likely took a monumental amount of bravery for them to walk up to you or pick up the phone, heart pounding out of their chest. Because of that extreme vulnerability, your immediate reaction, whether you actually want to date them or not, should be deeply rooted in kindness and respect. Honor their courage by responding with pure graciousness.
And this brings us to a clear fork in the road. If you know right away that you aren't interested, the source tells us to express that kindly but clearly. A no requires compassionate clarity so there's no lingering confusion or, false hope left behind. On the flip side, if you are interested, well, the door instantly opens to a deeper phase. You don't just say yes and silently walk away. You actively begin discussing your feelings and expectations for the courtship moving forward.
But how do you handle the actual timing of your response? First off, take time to consider if you need it. And if you do need time, actually say so. It is perfectly okay to process the request. You might be totally caught off guard. However, the second point here is absolutely vital. Try to respond as soon as possible, keeping in mind the timeless wisdom of Proverbs 13:12. Delaying your answer unnecessarily or stringing someone along just because you're too nervous to give a firm answer causes very real anxiety for the other person. It's a delicate balance, really. You want to take the time you need while respectfully honoring the suspense the initiator is sitting in.
Moving on to Section 4, aligning your expectations.
So this is that critical intersection where both of you have agreed, yes, we want to start a courtship. But honestly, the real work is just beginning. Consider this direct, sobering quote from the source. Your expectations may differ from the other person's. It points out a truly fascinating reality about human relationships. Just because there's mutual romantic interest, that definitely does not automatically mean there's mutual understanding. You are two completely different people. You might have wildly different ideas about how often you should text, the pace of the relationship, or what the boundaries of a courtship even look like. Immediate alignment and honest, open discussion about what you both expect is absolutely vital. You want to make sure this beautiful new beginning doesn't turn into a frustrating misunderstanding.
And that brings us to the final thought of our explainer today. Ask yourself right now, are your expectations ready to be shared? Before you even arrange that first conversation to ask someone out, or before you say a confident yes to an initiator, take a hard look at yourself. Have you figured out what your expectations actually are? And more importantly, are you genuinely ready to communicate them openly, clearly, and graciously? Because starting a courtship isn't just about finding the right person. It's about being prepared to communicate with them the right way, with kindness and respect, from day one. For more information, please visit jw.org. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon to get notifications for our next explainer.